Okay, so the question was from one of our clients, why are they so fearful? And I got to tell you, for me, that was a big one. And the reason being is because I noticed for myself that as I've gotten older, I've become more fearful as well. It's kind of like a odd thing because when I was younger, I was literally, I'm not going to say fearless, but I had virtually no fear. I mean, I would do some of the stupidest stuff, or at least things I consider to be stupid now. And now I would never even can think about doing those kind of things. And so what I've noticed over the last, I don't know, the last 2, 3 years, no, I'll say 4 years almost. Um, I found myself to be more fearful, more have a little bit more anxiety than what I've ever had in my entire life. And what I had to do is I had to figure out why I was so fearful. And so to answer this person's question, I had to go back to some of the things that I had learned from other people. And one of those things that I had learned from actually watching this guy who was an ex-Navy SEAL on YouTube. I was watching his video and he was talking about fear. And basically, part of their training is they would put them with some weights or whatever it was, and they would drop them down to the bottom of a pool. And you would literally, have to just hold your breath and you would be, weighted down and all that kind of stuff. And the more fearful you were, the quicker you would, have to go up for air. You would just, you wouldn't pass that particular part of the course. And so if you were able to calm yourself and be less fearful, then you were able to stay at the bottom of the pool longer, holding this heavy weight that's keeping you down there. And so what that said to me was, and plus the other things that he was talking about, some of their fire training, meaning, when they would bust into doors, and start, shooting live rounds and all this other stuff. It was kind of like you had to get past the fact that you could potentially get hurt. And the way to do that was by doing it over and over and over and over and over again. And so, it's different, obviously, because these guys are getting, Navy SEAL training, and we're just, regular average people. But what I will tell you is, for me, this is my explanation to the client. For me, what I found was that when I would find myself with having a level of fear, angst, and anxiety about something, I literally would force myself into it. I would literally push myself into it. As an example, a very small example, but an example nonetheless, what I would do is, so when we're walking at the park, and we go walking at this park close to our house Monday through Friday. And so when we're walking at the park, there are these kind of high mounds. And I used to look at those mounds and go, wow, when I was young, I would jump off those mounds. And now, I mean, they're not even, realistically speaking, they're not that high, just, feet high, maybe at the highest 4 feet or something like that. And I found myself being fearful, and because I had the thought, I was like, dude, I would just jump off that thing. Instead, I would like try to not jump off that thing. And so what I started doing is I would go and I would force myself to walk up the grass hill to the edge of the mound and jump off. And once I did it the first time, I was like, oh, that was nothing. I don't know where I got that fear from. So, and that brings to mind this guy, Zig Ziglar, who a lot of you may know of and a lot of you younger people may not know of. He was a motivational speaker. And what he used to say, and I'm sure other people said it before him, but that's where I got it from, which is fear is false evidence appearing real. False evidence appearing real. And so what I've come to the conclusion of, and this is my explanation to the client, is that with fear, it is something that you have to push into. It is literally something that we have to conquer, right? So if you're a child and you hear something at night, and you, instead of pulling the covers over your head, you get out of bed and you investigate it, and you find out that it's nothing. It's the house settling, or whatever. Your parents are in the kitchen, or it could be a myriad of different things. But by taking an action towards eliminating the fear of that moment in time, is extremely healthy. I was, because I work from home and I spend a lot of my time in the house, I would become a little bit of anxiety would build up when I'd have to leave the house. And I had no clue where that was coming from, but I found myself to be a bit more anxious because I'm in the house so often that I would get this little bit of angst when I need to leave the house. And I was like, what is that about? So what I had to do is literally go out every single day, make sure I'm out doing something every single day for a while until that feeling went away. And that was the only thing that changed it, which was moving into it. So instead of me being more standoffish, which I believe would have created more angst and anxiety, more fear, I had to push into it. And I think that is the best thing that a person can do, is if you're fearful of something, and we've seen that in movies all the time, and where they have like a psychiatrist telling someone, oh, you're afraid of flying, so you need to go flying. You need to buy a ticket, get on a plane, fly from here to there, come back, right? And you just need to do it because your fear is typically unfounded. I mean, obviously there are points in time when fear is a real founded thing. So if you're, in a gunfight or something like that, which I would venture to say 99.9% of the people that hear this recording will not ever be in a gunfight. And so at that point in time, of course, you're going to have real live fear. And especially if you're not a Navy SEAL or some other trained military person, you're not going to have what's necessary to be able to overcome that fear. But for the average person in average situations, we have to push through that fear. I'll tell you, one day we were having a family get together. This is some years ago, and we were at my brother's place, and he has this balcony that's up high. So it's a 2-story house, and their balcony is off the 2nd story. And the kids were out there playing around, all the little nieces and nephews. It's a huge balcony. And so all the nieces and nephews are playing, and I started, automatically just like, oh my God, look at these kids. They're gonna fall off this balcony. They're jumping off of the sofa. They're playing. They're having a great time. And so my thing was, I was like, hey, dude, these babies are gonna hurt themselves. And Mark was like, man, those babies are fine. They do it all the time. And he was saying to me, he goes, your fear and fragility, because you're getting older, you're now putting it off on the kids. And I had to think about that. I was just like, whoa, that's crazy. Because it was so true. Those kids were not doing anything different than they've always done. Playing, jumping, just like having a blast. But yet, my fear and, my anxiety started kicking in, and I started saying to these, like, dude, these kids, they're going to hurt themselves. They're going to fall off of something. They're going to, whatever the case is. And when he said that, it really made me think differently instantly. It was like someone slapping you in the face. And I was like, oh, okay. And so what I'm trying to say to you is, what I explained to this client is that we have to move into our fear. We have to move into our angst and anxiety. We have to, in order to control it. If you don't, you will find yourself huddled in some corner somewhere, not living your best life at all, not living any kind of life, quite frankly. And I find that to be a problem with a lot of people, even in this country right now. We have a lot of issues with what's going on with race relations, and white people fearing black people and black people fearing police and this, that, and the other. And most of it, I will tell you, in my opinion, is truly founded, right? There's reasons for it. But what I will also say to that is that just because we know that driving while black can get you killed, it's not like you can stop driving. So if you live in that fear, then you will bring that to you. You will literally bring what you fear most into your existence. I believe that to be true. I've learned that from many, many people that are 1,000 times more educated in that arena than I am, and just far more smarter in that arena than I am, is that what you think about most will definitely come to you. And so whether it's good, bad, or indifferent, what you think about most will definitely come to you. So if you are fearful of something and you constantly are thinking of that thing that you are fearful of, and you instead of stepping into it and pushing away the darkness of it, you just live in it, you will literally stunt your growth in life, and you will find yourself to be very unhappy. And once again, I do believe you will attract what you least want in your life. So this video is over. Please like and subscribe to this channel. Please like the video and subscribe to the channel. And if you have any comments on this video, please put them in the comment section. Love to hear and chime in on whatever your comments are.